My wife can attest that I was even suicidal at that point. Everybody wears a mask. You wear a mask, I wear a mask when we're out in the public realm. We don't exactly say what we think, right? And I couldn't figure it out. I knew there was something I could do, that was something worthwhile, something important I had to communicate. And we have to learn that to look behind people's masks. We have to learn what's really, really going on behind them. Suddenly, in one fell swoop, all of that is taken away from you. Now, I'm not to bitch or complain, because people have far worse things. They have terminal illnesses. The first phase of the process is discovering, when I say discovering your life's task. And that's the key to everything. It's the key to having a fulfilled life. It's the key to being happy in life. It's the key to reaching the goals that you want. Because what it is the process of self-understanding, self-knowledge. You have to become aware of what you were destined for in this life. You were born a unique individual. And it's a very interesting thought. It's the same kind of thought about your brain. There will never be another Michael Gervais. Your DNA is unique. The way your parents brought you up, their DNA is unique. The way they brought you up is unique. Your early experiences. You are a true individual, right? And that spark, that individuality is, I would compare to like a seed, right? It's been planted in you. And your destiny, your fate in life is to know what that seed is, to know who you are, what makes you different from everybody else, and to cultivate it. And if you don't understand that, the apprenticeship phase will be misery, because you will start trying to learn and do things that aren't suited to your nature. Your brain has what I call a grain to it. And there's a book that I tell people that I like a lot called The 5 Frames of Intelligence by Howard Gardner. And he basically shows that there are 5 different kinds of intelligence. We tend to overemphasize the intellectual, the analytical skill, but there's musical intelligence, pattern intelligence, mathematical intelligence. There's social intelligence. There's kinetic intelligence, which has to do with the body and movement. There are 5 of them. I don't remember all of them. You have one of them. There's one of them that's stronger than the others, right? It's where your brain naturally gravitates towards. And if you don't have the right fit, if you launch your career, you go into law because you think it's going to be making a lot of money, but in fact, your brain and your that seed was made for something else, you're going to end up hitting a wall at some point. You're going to be burning yourself out, and your life will take bad turns, and things will, you will never reach the goals that you want. And so if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what makes you different, but that meditating has done something to you, it has altered the connections in your brain. And that's what happens in the process of, it's hard to say, because sometimes your memory kind of leads you astray. But I knew I was a very ambitious young man. I'm still very ambitious. I don't deny it. And I like power, and I like controlling my life, and I like success. I'm sorry, but that's true. It's just who I am. And I was very ambitious, and I wanted to be a writer. But I couldn't figure out what it was that I was meant to write or what I was good at. I was a good writer, but there were bad fits, and I tried journalism. I lived in New York, and I wasn't very happy. I didn't like the fact that you wrote something and it lasted like a week or a day, and the next day it was forgotten. There was some new bit of news out there. I'm somebody that thinks in terms of decades, millennia, 5,000 years. What I studied in college was ancient Greek. That was my major. So thinking in terms of a day or 2 days, it just wasn't a good fit. I hated it. Then I left New York and I went to Europe, and I wandered around for 4 or 5 years. I worked in a hotel in Paris. I worked at a television company in London. I worked as a tour guide in Dublin. I taught Spanish in Barcelona. I worked in Greece, on an island in Greece. I had to pay my way to get off the island. I got very sick. Anyway, I tried writing novels, wandering around, nothing fit. I was getting very depressed. Who am I? What is the success that I was intended for? I came back to Los Angeles, where I'm from, to get into Hollywood and screenwriting, because, I can make money and I can write screenplays, and how glamorous. Another terrible, terrible fit, because a writer has no control. There are like 8 other people that come in, the producers, etc. It wasn't a good fit. So by the year 1995, I'm 36, 37 years old, very depressed. My wife can attest that I was even suicidal at that point. And I couldn't figure it out. I knew there was something I could do. I couldn't figure it out. I knew there was something I could do, that was something worthwhile, something important I had to communicate. And by luck, I met a man named Joost Elfers who packages books. And he asked me if I had an idea for a book, and I just kind of improvised in the moment what turned into the 48 Laws of Power. Everybody wears a mask. You wear a mask, I wear a mask when we're out in the public realm. We don't exactly say what we think, right? We're all a bit strategic. And if you're not careful, you're constantly saying the wrong things. You're constantly misreading people. You're doing things at your job that you think are going to impress, but they have the opposite effect. And then something bad happens and you're confused and you're emotional. It was like this circle atmosphere of pain around the globe, of people suffering because they don't know how to handle the people in their lives. And because we're so virtual and we're so locked in our phones, that we're becoming worse and worse at reading other people, at understanding them. You know, when I'm sitting across from you, I can see your body language, I can see your nonverbals, I can see all sorts of things. I can deal with you as a human. But when I spend 95% of my time behind a screen, and that's even how I date, basic human skills of understanding, of connecting, of empathy, of reading, they're getting hopelessly degraded. That's my long-winded answer for why I wrote that book. You are the best subject of human nature. So when I was writing this book, it was actually quite painful. So I'm writing a chapter on narcissism, one of the longest chapters in the book because it's a very important subject. And I'm telling myself, Robert, you're quite a narcissist. You didn't think of yourself that way, but you have all of these classic tendencies that you're writing about in the book. It was painful. But in order to come to understand narcissism in other people, I had to sort of understand it in myself. So step number one is, I need this knowledge. I'm actually not very good with dealing with people. It's caused me problems. Go back and review the problems and the mistakes you've made. Mistakes I've made as well, many, many times. And then when you realize that you want this knowledge, then you begin by looking inward. But if you think that it's not needed, that you're not, it's just, oh, it's kind of interesting, or maybe I'll sort of dabble in it, it won't mean anything to you. You have to feel that pain that you've been through in life. And it's kind of an ongoing pain. It's one that I still have, even though I wrote the book, where I misread people, where I inadvertently hurt them when I didn't mean to hurt them, And I feel that and I suffer from it. And so the pain that you feel, the emotions that this turns up, motivate you then to become better at understanding other people. You're meant to look at it. You're meant to confront it. I have in the book a quote from the great writer Anton Chekhov that people can't begin to change themselves until they know who they are, until they understand themselves, right? So we all want to change. We all want to be better at ourselves. But until we know who we are, until we realize our flaws and our weaknesses. So the main law of human nature, if I could summarize it, is we don't like to look at ourselves. It's always the other person. They're the ones with the problem. They're the ones who are aggressive or passive aggressive. They're the ones who feel envy. They're the ones who are irrational. But me, no. I'm somebody prior to the stroke who was extremely independent. I traveled a lot. I exercised every day. I swam, or I mountain biked, or I hiked, or I did yoga every single day. It was part of my personality. I liked adventure and I liked trying different things, right? Is what kept the drudgery of my writing routine. I could keep my sanity. Suddenly, in one fell swoop, all of that is taken away from you. Now, I'm not to bitch or complain because people have far worse things. They have terminal illnesses. Okay, I came very close to dying. My girlfriend at the time, now my wife, basically saved my life. Driving here in Los Angeles when the stroke happened, she saw something very strange going on with my face, like a whole side of my face was dropping. And she started yelling, pull over, pull over. And I'm going, no, everything's fine. And I'm driving and she's like forces the car over. And then I'm like, I'm not even aware of this. I start getting out of the car like I'm going to do something. She pulls me back in. And then the next thing I know, I'm unconscious. I'm in a coma. She called 911 right away. So basically recognizing it and taking quick action and not getting confused saved my life. She called 911. She pulled me back in the car. She saved my life. Okay.
Right. Wow.
But I was very close to dying. If the ambulance had come a minute later, I would have suffered so much brain damage that I wouldn't be here talking to you. If it had been on my own or 2 minutes later, I would have gotten in an accident. I would have died. Okay. So I became very lucky. But at the same time, everything all the supports in my life that kept me sane, that kept the writing okay for me, were gone. See results in a couple of weeks, and it keeps you excited, and you go. This, you see results in 8 months, a year, if at all. You hardly ever see results. Other people might notice a slight change, but you don't feel it in your body. How do you keep going? I do therapy every single day. I either ride my recumbent bike up in the hills, or the other 2 days I do an hour and a half to 2 hours of physical therapy. How do you keep going when you don't see results, right? You just have to be patient, because as my wife explained to me, if I didn't do that hour and a half therapy, I would have degraded. I would have lost. I wouldn't have kept at least a level of stasis. So you have to learn a whole new life skill, which is patience, which is not getting down on yourself. I'm somebody who's very self-critical by nature. So the stroke was probably one of the worst things that could happen to somebody with that particular characteristic, because, damn it, Robert, why can't you do this? Why can't you bend your knee like you've been practicing? Get down on yourself. You swear, you get really angry. You can't live like that, right? It's hindering you. It's making things worse. It's also making you miserable. You have to learn to be patient with yourself, be more forgiving with yourself, which is not a quality I had. You have to be patient on the level of not seeing the results that you have. You have to be patient on the level of, I can't type, so I have to find another way of doing it. And the other processes are insane, what I have to do to write my book right now. I have notebooks and I handwrite in them, and then I have to edit them with handwriting. So I have 2 notebooks and each paragraph is cross-referenced. It's I would look like a madman if you saw my notebooks, right? Okay. My days are literally numbered. You reach a certain age and you can literally count the numbers of the days that might be left to you. And I nearly died several years ago with my stroke. Came this close to dying. I was driving my car, and if my wife hadn't suddenly seen something, I wouldn't be talking to you here right now. Either I would have crashed and died, or I would have had such bad brain damage that I'd be a vegetable. So I know about death. I feel it in my body. Every day I wake up, I do my morning meditation. I'm aware. There's a practice that I have in my meditation where this could be my last thought. I could die 10 seconds from now. What do I want in my head in those last seconds? Do I want to have some petty little thought about somebody who did this or said that? Or do I want to have something else greater in my head? I'm constantly aware of my mortality. And with the book that I'm writing, it's always in my mind, because frankly, I'm aware that I might die before I finish the book. So now I've written 2/3 of it. If I die tomorrow, the book can be published, and that's okay. I can live with that. But, I'm in a hurry to get it done because I know it could happen at any moment, and it almost happened to me. So I'm continually aware of it, but not in a bad sense, in a way of, it kind of gives meaning to my life. It makes me aware of how, valuable each moment is, and how things that I look out my window, I see people doing things that I can't do anymore. And I go, they take it all for granted. They walk around unaware of their mortality, of how their body could break down at any day now. I'm aware of it. So I'm not going to feel envy, because my mind is at a different level. I'm aware of the ephemeral nature of life, and it makes everything kind of beautiful to me. People, as I said, the main mistake we make in dealing with other people, and it's a common mistake that I make as well, is we take the appearances for reality. We take their masks for how they appear to us, for their politeness, for their smiles, for their saying, "Oh, I loved you," etc., for the reality. And we have to learn that to look behind people's masks. We have to learn what's really, really going on behind them. And we have to learn some basics about human nature. People like to believe that they're essentially good, saintly, virtuous, however you want to do it. People want to believe that they're intelligent. You never want to feel like, I'm not stupid, I'm intelligent. And the other third thing is that they're willpower, that they're in control of their lives. They do things because they decided to do it. To make people feel insecure about their intelligence, right? To make them feel like they're not moral or they're not good. To make them feel like they do things not because they choose to, but because they were forced to, or because they're not aware of themselves. They hate that. They're going to hate you. They're going to resent you. They're going to resist you.